Hello and welcome to my creative space. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Welcome to another DIY video. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe and join this creative squad. For today's video, I am back with some more dupes, and I asked you on YouTube what store I should do next, and most of you wanted me to do Hobby Lobby, so here we are. Now, a little bit of a side note, I was supposed to put out this video on Saturday, but I had some personal things going on and I wasn't able to finish recording, either put it out. So I am going to be dividing this video into two parts, which today marks part 1, and on Saturday, stay tuned because there will be part 2 with a lot more dupes from Hobby Lobby. I hope you're excited to see what I created in this video, so let's get started. For my first dupe, I'm using 3 picture frames and this arrow from Dollar Tree, some black paint from Dollar Tree, and this wooden dowel I picked up from Walmart for 97 cents. First, I'm going to take my arrow and I'm going to trace a line to mark exactly where I'm going to be cutting, which is the top and the bottom. Then I'm going to take my wooden dowel and I'm going to mark 4 pieces that are going to measure 1.5 inches. Once I have them marked, I'll take them outside and I'll cut them down. Now here are all my pieces already cut. I'm going to take my sanding block to sand down those edges and make sure it's not too rough. Now that that is ready, I'm going to take this black chalkboard paint that I picked up from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be painting all these pieces in this color. Once my wooden pieces were dried, it's time to start putting all these pieces together, and I'm learning as I'm going, so don't judge me because I made a few mistakes and I changed my mind. So I took my first wooden dowel, the top part of the arrow, and I glued those together, and I was like, this is not gonna hold. So I pulled these furniture floor protectants and I cut those into strips, and I was able to use those to glue my 2 pieces together because I wanted them to be secured. So I'm going to be using those, and also it's going to protect my walls. Okay, so I'm finding the middle of this frame, and then I decided to also grab some Jenga blocks for extra support, and I glued that to the frame, and then I ended up removing the arrow and then gluing that to the actual Jenga block because I felt like it was going to be a lot more secure than the frame because the frame was not even. It was kind of curved, so it wasn't going to be secured at all. Now for my second frame, I did the exact same thing. I glued the Jenga block and then the wooden dowel. Now I'm removing the back of these frames. That helps them to stand because they're gonna be hanging on the wall and I don't need them anymore. So I glue another Jenga block and then glue those 2 pieces together, and there you have them. I'm just gonna add some more of the floor protecting pieces to make sure everything is secure, and I'll continue to do the exact same thing until I am done. And now all that's left is to glue the end of the arrow the exact same way, Jenga blocks and some more wooden dowels, some more floor protectants. And here we are. Now everything is glued into place. Now I'm going to grab this black paint from Dollar Tree and I'm going to paint the Jenga blocks so everything blends. Once this piece has dried, all that's left is to add a hanger. Now I'm going to be using this piece that I took off from one of those Dollar Tree frames, and that completes this dupe. And here is the end result. Here is my version with Dollar Tree items. Let me know how I did in the comments down below. To recreate my second dupe, I'm taking 7 of these easels from the Dollar Tree, some white paint. I was going to use these stickers. You'll see that I don't end up using them. And this wooden piece that I picked up from Lowe's. Now I'm going to start with the easels, and I'm going to remove the sticker on the back, and then I'm going to remove the bottom of these easels that help them stand. They're Dollar Tree, so they're very easy to remove. Just be very patient and be careful. You don't want to break it. Just take it slowly and they will come off. All right, now that all my 7 easels are ready to go, I'm taking my measuring tape and measuring it onto this wooden piece. I got this piece from Lowe's and it was like $3 for like 8 feet. So that was a good deal. Now I'm going to take my Dollar Tree masking tape and I'm going to be taping the inside because I will be painting the frames on these easels and I don't want any of that paint to get inside. So that's why I'm going to be doing that. So I'm going to tape the inside. Once that is done, I'll take my acrylic white paint and I'm going to paint the outside of these easels. And as always, if you ever have questions on what I'm using, check the description box. All right, here is my wooden piece. I'm also going to be painting this completely white, so that's all I'm going to do. Now that all my easels are dried, I'm going to start removing the tape, and I tried my best to not get paint inside, but as you can see, some of them did not work out very well, but that was my fault because I touched them with my fingers. Anyway, once all my pieces are ready to go, I'm going to start lining them to the wooden piece, and I am going to be using hot glue to glue these pieces into place. Now you'll see in a second that's not going to hold completely, so we'll do something else here in a second. As you can see, that one just went off flying, but it's okay. That now I'm going to take this jumbo popsicle sticks, and that's going to help me secure these pieces into place. Now as you can see, the first two I didn't glue them high enough to hold on to the wooden piece, so I had to go back and add some of the little pieces. Now that everything is glued into place and it's going to be secure, I'm going to be painting the back because I wanted it to look nice and finished. Okay, here is where Creative Wendy had to come into play, because the Hobby Lobby piece has this red little rectangle that you can move back and forth to the different days of the month. And here is my version. I took this piece of cotton twine from the Dollar Tree and I cut it to the size of this piece, and I glue it with some hot glue, and then I added this popsicle stick to hold it in place. Now I took this galvanized metal piece that I had removed from one of the signs from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be creating my own arrow with this. So I cut it down to the size, and then I just cut the bottom into a triangle shape, and that is going to be my arrow that points to the days. Now I also end up painting that little arrow in the color red. I just didn't show it because I forgot, honestly. I'm sorry, but you know, it's just red. And here I am testing this arrow, and it actually moves. Whoop whoop, that is perfect. All right, now all that's left is to add the days of the month, and I started with a pencil, then I went in there with some black marker, and it didn't end up looking the way I wanted it, so I go in there with some black paint. But you could do so many things. Use stickers, or you can use a Cricut machine and cut the numbers to make them look prettier than mine, because honestly these are not pretty, but this is what I came up with, and that is an affordable way to do it. Now here is a picture of the end result. I think I nailed it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. For my last dupe, I'm going to be using the remainder of my previous piece of wood that I picked up from Lowe's, that I told you it was $3 for 8 feet. Now I'm going to be cutting this into 3 pieces that are going to measure 8 inches, one that is going to measure 5.5, and one that is going to measure 6 inches. Now I'm going to be taking my wooden piece outside and using my miter box and my saw, and 2 of the 8-inch pieces are going to be cut into 45-degree angles, and the other ones are going to be straight cuts. Now here are my 2 45-degree angle pieces, my straight 8-inch piece, my 6 and 5.5-inch pieces, and I'm going to take my sanding sponge and kind of just sand down the edges so they are not so rough. Now that that is done, I'm going to take my 3 8-inch pieces and I'm going to glue those with some hot glue first. Don't worry, we'll secure them in a second. Once these 2 pieces are glued into place, I'm going to take these nails that I picked up the other day and I'm going to be nailing these pieces together. Now, if I can find them on Amazon, I will leave the link in the description box. Now, I'm going to take my 6-inch piece and my 5.5-inch piece, and I'm going to also be gluing those together and also nailing them together to make sure it's secure. Once that is done, I will add some hot glue and glue those to the bottom piece. And yes, I know it's not going to be strong enough, so we're going to have to take my staple gun and I'm gonna staple these pieces together, especially if you're going to be hanging heavy things on these shelves. Then you need something heavy duty to hold these pieces together. Now here is what it's looking like. Now I'm going to be staining it, and I don't remember the color, but I will leave it in the description box. And yeah, all I'm going to do is just stain this house, and it's almost done. Now, last details, I need a hanger. So this one, I removed it from one of the Dollar Tree frames, and you could leave it like this, or you could do the extra detail that the Hobby Lobby house shelf had, which is this wooden dowel that runs across this house, and it's in the color black. So I took a bamboo skewer and painted it black, and then I just added it, and that completes this little house. And here is the end result. I think I nailed it, but you let me know in the comments down below what you think. Also, don't forget to tell me which one is your favorite, as well as let me know if you're going to be tuning in on Saturday for part 2 of this video. Give my video a thumbs up because it really helps my channel. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you on my next DIY. Bye!